Alright, I think we are going now. So, everyone, this is GeoWill from Productions², and tonight we're going to do some streaming for the... and maybe some of the intro was cut off, but whatever. We'll roll with it. Doing some streaming for the MV Bank script plugin. Like, part of this stream is just going to be going through and looking at it and seeing what's there, because I've totally forgotten what the hell I had done with it and where I was going with it. Well, I know where I'm going with it, just don't know how far I got with it. Quick scheduling note, though. Every day at around 7 o'clock, I'm going to be streaming Rest Here till we finish it, starting tomorrow. Changes because I've got have a job now, so it doesn't start till a little bit later in the day, so I have that time in the morning now to do stuff. So maybe not every day, every other day starting tomorrow, I guess. So it'd be Wednesday and then Friday if there's anything left to stream. Hopefully it gets finished by tomorrow. Hopefully, we'll see. But I'm thinking about streaming like maybe an hour to an hour and a half every day for Rest Here till we finish it. And I may decide to do that for other walkthroughs as well, to like have a live stream walkthrough and then also the one we're uploading, just to kind of keep things a little bit fresh and maybe moving a little bit quicker. Obviously that'll only work if I have a nice amount of pre-recorded footage to use. So we have that with Crimson Echoes. But at the same time, I don't really have anything that I need to be streaming after Rest Here, so because it's Chrono Trigger, Crimson Echoes, and Chrono Cross, and both those are going to be just recorded walkthroughs. You need a budget, I need a budget, everyone needs a budget. I'm going to minimize that for now. So, I need to open up MV well, we need to do a couple things. First of all, I need to find where I have, where did I stash? It's got to be in here, Sublime Text. There we go. Hey, it's open. Alright, no, I don't want to download your new stupid version. And why did this just open? Interesting. Alright, so we got our bank script here. I have no clue what I was in the middle of doing when I was writing this, whenever the last time I did anything with this was, so we shall have to look through here and see what's actually in here and what's not. So, got our basic stuff here. We got the scenes set up. We have our param plugin parameters. We have the bank data, so balance, ID, interest. Oh, I think what I was doing was I was trying to build like a JSON structure to hold bank information so it could be loaded back into the game and save it through the saving thing. I think that's where I was at. I might have already finished that. I'm not sure if I had or not, though. I think that's where I was at, I think. So we got the game interpreter, so we're bank opens with the scene. Create bank record. Yeah, so here, so if game banks bank ID, so passing their bank ID and interest amount, doesn't exist, then we create it. We set the balance to 0, interest amount to interest. Well, interest amount, and last access to 0. Okay, that's interesting. So, bank balance, we're setting the balance, the interest to bank interest, and then the last access to last access. So we're getting the values we just set, putting them to variables to work with, then the bank ID, which we pass through. Then we're calculating the interest, so var date now equals date now. Time difference, bank last access equals 0. Ternary, so return to 0 if it is true, and if not, then date now minus bank last access to get how much time has passed since the last time the scene has been opened at that particular bank, I guess. If time difference is not 0, then we get the hour difference using math floor, time difference divided by 1,000 divided by 60. And then we use the HR difference times bank interest divided by 100 times the bank balance to get the new balance. Okay, seems relatively simple. And that's that. Update bank. Change the last access to the current date and time. And then update the balance if player is leaving. Okay, so yeah, so if you just like say deposit or withdrawal, but you don't leave yet, we don't want to update the last access time because we want that to happen only when the player leaves the scene. So I see how that would work. Then we have the command. Okay, this is from the class changer. I just brought it over as a, I guess, maybe point of reference or to modify for later on. And actually, I think I'm keeping it there because we have this here, but I probably have this here because eventually there will be more commands to add in, maybe to change the interest for that particular bank or something. And this will kind of give an example of how I can do that. So toggle, yeah, that's all that same stuff. We can skip that. Scene bank. So we got our constructors, initializations, create help window, create windows, calls this, creates these panes, and sets them up. Action pane, okay. Window, action pane, shows all the different things you can do, and then the help text for each one of those options, and then all that code. So I think there's a game party down here for some reason. Not sure why that's there. Let's comment that out. So I think this probably could actually, like compile it, or not compile, but probably could run it and it might not cause any errors yet. Let me go and open up MV real quick. Bank demo. Alright, so let's go ahead and run this. Nice, that's working. I'm just going to drop this down a bit. Or not input. We want to do output capture. Well, I could also just drop the volume down on my headphones. I'll do both. That way I don't hear it as loud and you won't either. So that gets annoying after a while. Crap, what is it for the console? F8, I think. Alright, we have a syntax error. Yay. So line 63, unexpected token else. 63. If command equals else if well, yeah, I could see how that could happen. So what was going on with that? Maybe I copied something up to here and changed it, but didn't remove the. So this should be if command equals command.match. Does that seem right? No, just a command.match. We don't need the equals, so oops. Do need that. Okay. Now that was the scene bank. Crap. Where'd the window go? It's hiding. There we go. No, now we lost the console window, damn it. Alright, there we go. So F5. Yay, more unexpectedness. What do we got now? Unexpected token from 63. Unexpected curly brace. Because there should have been another parentheses to close that one. Obviously. Now we have unexpected token function at 116. Really? How is this unexpected? Oh, because this is supposed to be part of a function itself. And yeah, gotcha. Okay. Okay. No errors, so that's good. So this should open up the scene unless the plugin command has not been added yet, which is a distinct possibility, and I just closed it, but I had to close it anyway. Nope, it's there. Plugin command, bank open. So so what happens when you try and take code that you used before and don't remember that you can't use it exactly like that. In this case, so bank open. Oh, right. Actually, no, that is true. We have to pass through an ID and we have to pass through an interest amount now. There was nothing wrong with it at all. Well, actually, yes, there was something wrong with that. I didn't have to update this. So we're going to say 0 and 10. Apply, okay. Yes, and then reopen the console window. Let's see if things explode into fiery chunks or not. Okay. No, you're still not working. Why not? So, crapola. We need to go to sources and then to JS and then to plugins and then to this. And I need to expand this out. And then we need to put a breakpoint on this. Because I want to find out what's going on. Yay, we're not even reaching that point. Okay, command. Let's see, are we reaching you? Yes, we are. Good. So, what the hell are we getting for command then? So, bank open, continue, 0, continue, nothing. That's interesting. So, command plus space plus args 1. So args.length is only 1. No, it's 2. 0 and 10. So, that doesn't, so command plus equals, then wouldn't it be command 0, command 10? Or I mean bank open, not command. Because command already has bank open in it. No, because we're plus equal, we're concatenating on this to it. Okay, that makes sense, I suppose. I guess, somehow. Anyway, so command plus equals this plus args I1 as long as I1 is less than args.length. We have two elements in the array, 0 and 10. Let's throw in another watch for I1, which is 0. Oh, I know why. There we go. Derp. Now, if command match bank open, this is where it seems to fail at. Because maybe this doesn't actually pick it up correctly, which I wouldn't be surprised about. So what do we get from that? We get a null, yay. So bank open. Right, so what did we do with class changer on this? So I have a feeling I just copied the code over from this and used it. And it's not gonna exactly, oh wow, I forgot how large this thing is. Where is the interpreter? There. Yeah, so I just kind of did this. And I assumed, oh, we could just do this again. And this again. Apparently it's not going to quite work, though. So, we need to go to our handy dandy, crap. Let me see if I can remember what it's called. I just see regex, online tester. Was it this one? Yes, it was this one. Our awesome one here. Okay, so the expression, text. It's going to be bank open space 0 space 10. And then we're going to throw in our matches a space, case sensitive, matches a space. So, okay. So maybe we need to, on this other one, yeah, see I don't have a space here, that's why. But I have 2 spaces here, so that's looking for 2 spaces in between the decimals instead of just 1 space in between the values, the D values, decimals or otherwise, and then also 2 spaces between the bank open and the rest of it. So if we change that, this should fix it. We'll need to continue. Restart. Okay, there we go. Good, we got something new. Game banks is not defined. Awesome. So, GLO bank 72. Line 72 is causing an issue. So if not game banks, bank ID. So game banks itself is not defined. That's something that I created to handle stuff from loading, but apparently we also need to add it to the initialization somewhere. Let's see, we need to open JS. I'll say managers probably. So okay, yeah, see there's no, we got stuff here. It's game party in there, yeah, game party's in here, but we don't have game banks. There, game banks. Tab. It's obviously not tabs. Don't know what they're using. So then, database files. Of course, not everything here becomes a database file, but so game party equals new game party. Game player. Alright, so that's gonna be an object, obviously. Probably. Yeah. So then we need to add something in there for game bank, I suppose. Well, I don't know, we don't actually need to. I don't think this is, I think it just accesses it, period. Let me check that though. How is it loading these? So, data manager dot create game objects equals new game temp. So yeah, it's not like referencing those files anywhere, it just gets them. Just want to see, maybe if we can create it in over here. So let me go see, how are we defining? So I'm going to define it the right way. So game character. So this is obviously a subclass, so I'm going to define an actual main class. Like a, not really a super class, but a top level class. Game character base. Okay, here we go, yeah. Alright, so define our, alright, I'll put it at the bottom. Or should I put it at the top? Not really sure. Pull this over. I guess we can define it up here. Probably should define it up here. Game bank, and just kind of describe what it is. So add a little bit of formatting. Class to hold the bank information for plugin. Crap. There. Okay. So, so it's function, then the thing. So, right. Function game bank. No parameters, and then just the initialization, basically, arguments. This dot initialize, spell it correctly. Dot apply this arguments. Okay, then object.define properties character, so game bank.prototype, and then those properties there, not these ones, but similar things to that. Actually, it doesn't define a type for the property. So what was it? So object define properties. Okay, object dot define properties. And then the object's name, which is going to be the game bank.prototype. And then the properties. So what we'll do is we'll actually then take these, instead of putting them in here, we'll put it as well, yes and no. Instead of accessing them like this, we'll load in this information into each bank property on loading, or when we're creating a bank thing, and then we'll just call it from the bank. Game banks class. So I probably would still be accessing it like this, but just accessing it through functions to get the properties. So balance, so bank balance, colon, get, and then configurable equals true. So colon, get, get function, and then I think it's just return this dot underscore x. So turn this dot underscore bank balance. And then configurable. Configurable is true. Then bank interest. Configurable. Sure. Oh, oops. Oh. Gotcha. That's what's wrong. That's kind of weird. There we go. And then bank, last access. And then the prototype initialize. So function, no. Game bank prototype. This dot init, this dot init members. So this dot init members. So I'm only really going to have a couple. Actually, there should be... Should the bank ID be a member? I think it should, probably, actually. Bank ID. So this dot underscore bank ID equals 0. Equals, yeah, 0. That'll work. Okay, so we initialize those, and then, so we need to put in some functions to set these, I think, unless that's what configurable does. So XY. Nope, there's a set position, never mind. So I do have a set position, so we do need to still set them. Alright, well, so game bank dot prototype dot set. So what if I want to pass through a bank ID when we create this? So when we create the initializer, we need to pass through the function initialize. Do we need to put anything in the parent? No, so we don't. We just need to make sure that we have a parameter in initialize to handle the arguments we want to pass through. Because when we create this, we want to do what we're doing down here with this, which is to set the wherever it's at. I don't even know where it's at anymore. To do this bit here, to set the and we're setting the initial stuff anyway, but at the same time to set the the interest amount. That's going to be whatever it is in the from the event plugin command. So initialize. So we just need to pass through bank BID and B interest. Let's see, B int. So initialize them, and then this dot set ID. This dot set. Well, we also need to have one for the last access then too. Actually, no, we don't, because that's already set to 0. Whoops, we want that. But we don't need to set to 0 because we're already setting it here, so that's fine. So set ID. Should probably just leave it as BID. It shouldn't matter. This underscore bank ID equals BID. And then when we're creating this record, we'll do whatever we need to put it into the lists element, the key for the list, or map, whatever the hell they call these. So that's fine. Game bank prototype dot set interest equals function b interest or b int. This underscore bank interest. Okay. Oh, and the balance too. Balance. So if this dot underscore bank, we shouldn't need to do that here. I would do that before calling it. So just this dot underscore alright. And then we would get them back through here. So that's fine. Okay. So, game player. I'm just wondering if it only reads it if it's in the same folder and not a subfolder. We'll find out. Still not clear how it's defining. And again, this could be injected into the MV executable and then done with that way, so it wouldn't be possible to do it that way. But we'll see if that does anything like causes errors, which I'm pretty sure it probably will. Okay. Alright, we got an unexpected token. That could be, no, it's from this time. Or, well, I don't know if it is or not. But, what line? Unexpected token transferred from game banks, not defined. Oh, shoot, banks. Or no, game bank. I didn't say banks, it is game bank. Cancel. Okay, yeah, game bank not defined. Okay. Where else could these be defined at? So make save contents. Did I not? I thought I made these changes, but maybe I didn't. Contents dot banks. And then game banks equals contents dot bank. Okay. Config manager. And maybe we should override these or something. Well, we can do that once we figure out how to actually make it work or not. Well, let me see if that would work. So data manager, just for the hell of it here. Where would I put this? I'd have to go after our game bank stuff. Oh, it would have to be in the function, actually. So we need to create a... Use my class user cheat sheet here. We need to create a var to store the initialization. Right. So var data manager underscore managed to save the headphones users from a gigantic sneeze. Okay, so crap, where was that? I just had it and now I've lost it. No, I haven't. I'm in the wrong tab. So data manager dot create game objects. Well, it'd be a data manager. I don't know why objects is over the go away. So okay, now we do need to initialize it, and then we need to call the other ones as well. Okay, so we need to initialize data manager. I think. What do we do with data manager on this? Var data manager. No, we just called the function itself. Okay, never mind then. It's data manager underscore create game objects. Equals data manager dot whatever the function is. So data manager dot create game objects. Now see, we can access data manager from here, but we can't access the class up there from. So maybe. Maybe this should be defined inside of the function. Maybe that underscore defines a global namespace or something. So where's my, I'm gonna comment this out. So I'm gonna try this first. So, no, game bank still not defined. Still saying there's an unexpected token somewhere in game banks. Oh, yay. We have a bunch of nonsense here. Oh, okay, so it's saying that it couldn't be interpreted because there is an extra semicolon floating around somewhere that's causing a weird thing to happen. So where would that be at? So that one's fine. database is loaded. Wrong one. Alright, game bank, that's fine. But it's saying there's an unexpected token. Maybe it's talking about this one. Let's see. Nope, still something else wrong. I do think that needs to go there, though. Oh, no, it doesn't. Never mind. Never mind-o. Alright, those need to come out. That's the ones that are causing the problem here. Alright, let's go and solve this bank issue. Still not detecting game bank. Alright, let's go back to my initial, or to my, what we're doing here. Create game objects. Then we need to call it. That's probably not the best one to use an example for. Yeah, the better one. Yeah, here. Then we call the initialization and then call in the pass through the to apply to this into the apply function. Alright, so then we call, well, we're not initializing that, we're calling a particular function. So we call that function. Alright. So data manager dot create game objects. Do you use prototype or no? Yes, we do. Whoops. Alright. Prototype. Prototype. That always works. Prototype, create game objects, blah, 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 blah. Managers, there it is. Create game objects, yeah. Function. So then we need to do our own stuff and then call it. Yeah. So we need to, let's see. Do that. And then call the game or data manager. I believe that's how you call it. This arguments, yes. And over in here, I'm going to take out my. Oops. One too many lines. All right, take that out. So now we just want to reload this and see what happens. Oh, it loaded, and we had an unexpected token. Oh, that'd be one. Okay, so it seems to have loaded no errors. So GameBank is a thing that it knows what it is because we defined it up here. So we need to do that for all the other stuff too, don't we? Crap. So wherever we have GameBanks defined, well, and anywhere we're accessing the wow, got the 4. Data files, data manager database files. It's not really a. Well, it's not a database file, and it doesn't go there. Let's see, yada yada yada. Map loader, load map data. So the first function to mention at all is this one. Make save file info. Make save contents. So contents.banks equals game banks. That's fine. That's fine. I'll need to put a thing in here for that as well. So I'm not sure how you would do it here, because VR contents is defined in here, and then and it returns it automatically. So you would have to define it beforehand, but then that would give you an error because they're defining a contents before the actual variable is defined. So I think you have to put it in here like this. Let's do this as well. Same reasoning here. Well, maybe not here, but up here definitely. So contents of party, game party. So how does game party become a... So game party equals game party. It's like there's one other stage somewhere in here that's not quite... I don't quite get yet, because I haven't seen the code that does it yet. But where it takes the... Basically where it goes between the JSON, which is what's getting loaded into the these global variables when the save is loaded, and how it gets processed into an actual instance of an object, which is what these are actually supposed to contain. So I guess what happens is that when we're loading up or when we're creating these, somehow we're defining, I guess, a JSON array of those objects, I suppose. I guess that's probably the best way that these can be described as. So maybe there isn't any conversion that has to happen. So that's interesting. So where else? It's music volume and such. Let's see, compressed. Clean backup, restore backup, blah blah blah. Save file, save the local file. Save, load from local file, blah blah blah. Save to web storage. Image manager. Audio manager. Sound manager. Okay. Scene manager. Battle. What else we got? Plugin manager. Interesting. So, plugin path, JS plugin, scripts, error URLs, parameters. Check for errors. Load script. Alright, so that's all the different things we have to put in here. So, now back over here. So equals blah blah. So that's bank open arguments. So when we do this now, create bank record. That's fine. Game banks, bank ID. Well, let's see if that causes any kind of errors when we try and use the NPC now. Yes, it does. Oh, clear property 0 of null. No, yeah, okay, so it's still, so 120, let me see, create bank record 127. Yeah, so it's still showing up as null. That's interesting. Because this is setting it... Do we need to... Well... Let me see, where was that at? Create game objects. Set up new game. Yeah, it should be called from set up new game. And we're overwriting it with the one from our plugin. Question, well, yeah. That could be a problem if this one's also, yeah, are we, well, not that one though. We're not specifically overriding the one that I am in the plugin, so that's probably fine. But no, yeah, it should be calling that, and then it should be hitting that. So what we can do is, let's go sources again. We can check. If we're actually hitting this or not. So it'd be when we click new game. Interesting, it's not going through there. And then that's why we're getting type of 0 of null. Because this is not firing. Data manager.prototype create game objects equals function. Okay, let's see. RPGMaker MV. Let's see. So var blah 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 dot prototype. Oh, I didn't say prototype, did I? It's the little things. Nope, that still didn't hit it though. And we still got that going. Alright, so something else is kind of funky then. Data manager prototype. Or it's not a prototype at all. Why am I calling prototype? Maybe that's the reason why. Oh. Crap. Alright, I'm again trying to modify things over in the friggin' console window. Nope, still didn't hit. Why? Let's see. Original method. Old method. Call this. Override. So, start save contents, function contents, call this. Okay, they're saying call this contents. So it's call this instead of apply. Okay. Call instead of apply. And maybe it has to go first. Nope. Problem isn't that the problem is that's not even getting into this yet. Or it's not even hitting this at all. Which is kind of interesting. Let's see. There equals data manager dot whatever contents. It's missing a semicolon. Oh, one of those noob tricks, I think. Either I forgot to put it in there, I don't know. Basically, we have to add the argument side for the main function. If you were to use apply instead, you can. Oh, you can use it either, I guess. That's interesting. Oh, well, it's not. It's not going there at all, though. That's the problem. I guess alias. Alias. Okay, so all right. So database function if So yeah, I have it defined correctly. Var data manager create game objects equals data manager dot create game objects. Unless there's a typo. Nope. No typo. Oh, god damn it. There's a typo. Maybe. We'll see if that works or not. I would not be surprised. Ah. Okay, that was the problem. Little things like capitalization. Okay, there we go. Boom. We now have it opening again. Cool. I don't think these do anything, though. No, they don't. Actually, yes, they do. They freeze the program. Freeze the game. That's what they do. That's exactly what they do. Alright, so it's opening. What I want to do, though, is I want to then put a break in here somewhere. Oh, actually, what we need to do is we need to create a new so if well, the bank ID is 0, so I guess that would be true. But these are different. Equals new. So let's see if this even works properly. Game bank. No clue if that'll work or not. Then I'm going to put a breakpoint like in here so we can see what the hell happens. And F5. Okay. So, get rid of all this stuff. So we need to look at what's in game banks. Alright, bank ID undefined, interest undefined, 0, balance is 0, bank list, okay, that's fine. So maybe what we need to do then is, instead of doing it this way, we need to define a temporary variable to hold, so, like temp bank or something. So if game bank's bank ID does not exist, then instead of doing this, maybe we say temp bank. Dots. And then Because I have no freaking clue if that's going to work or not. We'll just see what happens. Oh. Alright, so game banks. So I'm still seeing nothing, which is not surprising. Bank ID, undefined, undefined. These are set to 0, so that's fine. Do we need to call the initializer? Maybe that's why. So, like, let me see. Look at the, so set handler. I'm looking at the create functions somewhere. Where the hell are they? Where are the window creating? Here we go. So it's an initialize.call on window.select prototype to initialize to call on the prototype initialize. So, well, obviously because we're calling the initialize function of Windows selectable, which is this is a subclass of. But if we are just creating a reference and so forgetting, because this is stuff you don't normally do when you're coding a plugin for RPGMaker. You don't normally do this kind of crap. You're not normally creating your own classes and then having to initialize them and all that. You're usually subclassing something else. So what I need to do is I need to find something that's calling game back to prototype initialize. Start initialize, apply this arguments. So that's calling the game enemy initialize. These are the arguments that are getting passed through. So new game enemy and pass through the so that's exactly how they do it. Var enemy equals new game enemy ID XY, and then just handles it through the constructor. So well, this constructor then it calls the initializer, which has the arguments in it, and we get them from there. So when we say, crap, where was it? Back, up, down, left and right, and diagonally. Where the hell? I am completely lost as to where we're supposed to be. Here. So, here's where we should pass them through then. Bank ID and interest amount. We already have this, so we don't need that. So I just need to do this, I guess. F5. Okay, we're still getting undefined though. Game bank 0, game bank. So we're creating a... Well, let's put a thing here first of all. And see if it's actually dropping into there. Maybe it's not even dropping into there. No, it is. It's just not doing anything. So what's temp bank look like? Game bank, which is, it has stuff in it, which is good. Okay. So if we go back over to the managers, game banks is null. Somewhere in here we're assigning this to, well, like game party, for example. Somewhere we've got to be assigning this to like an array or something. So we got equals game party. So maybe part of game party is a... Okay, part of game party is members, right. Actually, it's game party. Game party, initialize, members, menu actor, ID, targets actors. So we have an actors thing here that has all that information in it. So maybe what we need to do with ours is the same kind of thing. So we have bank. Well, then we need to call it game banks instead of bank because it'll have multiple banks in it. Which means we need to do all kinds of fun stuff here. So instead of all this, we would just have a banks get function return list underscore banks. Then the initialization, we would just have this, then be banks, and then have it be a thing like that. So, set ID. So all these would be like banks, then ID. But we wouldn't want to do that because we'd want to not do that. Now we wouldn't need to get it either because it should be the same. The element key or the whatever key, the key value pair key, which makes no sense to say it that way. Map key, because maps always have keys. Or everything that has a key and a value is usually like a map or something. In general software development terms, should always be what the ID is of the value, which is the bank object. So now this one would be, so we have to pass our 2 on these now, which would be to like get the, and we have to have functions to get them as well. And then BID. Now we just call it balance. And then this would be B balance. Okay, and then we'd need to get those as well. Well, would we have to get them, or you probably should get them? I mean, it's to maintain data encapsulation integrity, you should actually get them and not directly access them, because technically it's a member in this class. It shouldn't be accessible to the public. So and you just take all these and do gets. Switch them all to just gets instead of sets. Be nice if I could do it as a parameter. It's probably the way to do it, but I'm not property or whatever from up there. But I'm not gonna try and even do that yet, because that would be kind of crazy. So all these go to return. Let me just take out the last bit. Again, we shouldn't need the ID because we already have the ID. We just need to be able to get the other properties. So now, Game Banks is not its own. Well, it is its own thing. So instead of this being a new game bank, it's going to be a new. That's another thing we have to change. We're no longer going to need to pass through stuff for the initializer. Don't need to do that, and we don't need this. What we'll need to do is create new bank or something. We'll say add bank. And then we'll add those in there. So BID, B balance, B interest, and B last access. Because those are not going to get set by default anymore. Now, this dot underscore alright, well we'll do some checking. If this dot underscore banks BID, else we'll just do nothing. So then this dot underscore banks BID equals so how do we structure this? I need to check this again. So I built these kind of structures in here. It's been a while since I've done anything with this, so I need to take another look at how okay, so if we're going to do that kind of a thing, we have to actually or wait, no. What if I just want to create a... Maybe that is creating a JSON structure inside of it. Let's see, JavaScript. Let's see, create, that's why I see with this, yes, but no, that's not kind of what I want to do. So, on generate row, column results, JSON, so, that's the thing, I want to create the JSON within that without actually defining it first. So, whatever. So, wait. Oh. Oh, okay. So this is an array, and then this is, again, there's like a missing. Every time I see like a missing semicolon, I think that person's trying to be a dick and like leaving out things to punish noobs who don't notice little things like that. It happens much, much too often for me to just ignore it half the time. I'm going to clear this up right now really quick. JavaScript. Okay, shorthand for an empty object. Okay, so an array uses brackets while an object is curly braces. Okay, I guess that makes some sense then. So you create an array with this. So you have JSON objects, and then you populate that with the with this, and then this defines. So item title defines it as a similar structure to this, but you still access it this way. Now, what if I wanted to do not just an array, but like a double JSON thing? Which is how I think I did some of these over here, a lot of the stuff over here. So it would be okay, so we define a banks. We need to, where's the banks initializer? Okay, yeah, so we did it that way. Alright, so banks, this. Then, probably don't have to do that, but I'm going to because single or double? Double. Tests. So that's all I'm going to do with it, and then we're going to see if this actually works. So console.log. But we'd call add bank with that. So this would actually come out of here, and then we would call temp bank dot. But we wouldn't need to do that as a new game bank, would we? We would just call game banks dot add bank. Yeah. So this would be dot get bank. Let's actually call it bank exists. bank ID. So let's see, game bank. B ID. Then we would say return so it should return false if it exists, and true so it doesn't exist. So return true when it doesn't exist, return false when it does exist, I think. We'll labor under that delusion for the moment anyway, and then we'll see what actually happens. Now where's the... Damn it, where are you? Ah, here. So if... So, let's see, false. If it's not there, it returns true. If it is there, it returns false. Which is kind of backwards, but... Maybe we can do a ternary here. So if it's false, if it's false, which would mean true, then return false. Else return true. No, no clue if that'll work. But again, a little bit more, just a little more detail and see if it actually does work or not. So, and we are in a holding pattern because that we need to restart. I don't see any concept. Game bank is not defined. Wow. Okay. 60. What is line 60? Oh, game banks. Duh. Got to change all these other things. Derp, derp, derp. Game banks, game banks. Okay, so now what do we got? Because now it's game banks instead of game banks, we need to fix on the initialization. Blah, 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 blah. It's game banks. Okay. I'll put one there too. Okay, so here we are. Whoa. Not what I wanted to do. Bank switch as an object test. Okay, so that's there actually. Nice. Cool. Let's go and get rid of this. Add another thing here. So, it does return false. Continue. Can't read property balance of undefined. Oh, we're down into there. So let's check the console log. So That's interesting. So it was false, returned false, it didn't come down to here. Okay, no, it exists, so it's true. That's why. It's like a double positive becomes a negative somehow. No clue how that's possible, but it is, because that's the way I coded it. Breaking the laws of logic one character at a time. Okay, restart. Can't read property test of undefined. How is it not defined? We just had it defined. Alright, let's see. 143. Game banks. Oh. Yeah, okay. I see where we went wrong here. So gamebanks.getbanks. Or .getbank, I think. Oh, we didn't create that. Yeah. Game banks.prototype.getbank. In this case, we know it's there, so we're not going to do any checking. So return this dot underscore banks BID. Because in this case, when it goes into that function, that if check down here, it already exists. We know it exists. Okay, so let's do a retry on this. Yeah, what's going on? Why is the debugger paused? Because this got pushed down, that's why. Actually, I don't even need that. Okay, but what about console? Yes, it's there. Perfect. It works. Okay. So now, blah, 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 bank balance, interest. So now that we know it's there, so we'll just run this check every time. Now, should do, whoops, else. Add the bank. And then set our stuff here. So bank balance is going to be 0. Interest is going to be whatever the interest amount is. Last access is right now. Well, we'll set to 0 because, yeah. And then bank ID is bank ID. And this should only happen if the bank already exists. Okay, and then how this is going to have to work though is how we had it the other way. So gamebanks.getbank. Balance. Which actually is going to be lowercase balance. Okay. And then just need to modify these to work the way it's going to need to work now, which is to access them this way. Right, actually we should do it this way instead of what we were doing just now. Now you can do it that way, but at the same time, you shouldn't, really. At least in my opinion, you shouldn't. Because again, object-oriented programming, object-oriented design kind of dictates that you should only access members from the properties of members from the class that they're associated with, and not from another class that calls that to it or whatever kind of thing. So instead of doing this, it should be get balance. So it's all done internally. And of course the bank ID. Okay, let's go ahead and reload. Okay, we have everything still working there. Of course, none of it works yet. None of those have actions have been coded yet, so they don't work. Surprisingly, not surprisingly. Let's see. Draw action item. Blah 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 blah. So you actually have to we have to create the windows that will pop up for that. So it's like it's a whole bunch of other things we have to work on from this. So I think we'll stop here. I think it's probably a good place to stop. We actually got the new object in. It's been added to the, well, I'm not sure about saving. We'll be able to check saving until we, well, I mean, we could probably try with some dummy stuff, but I don't know how to do that just now. But we got it in there. We got it so we could create new records for its, new bank records for the banks thing here. And we have set up the code supposedly to make the engine save the JSON data that's stored inside of banks to a JSON file, supposedly, or not JSON file, but to the contents for the save, and load it in supposedly as well. I'll have to check on the loading in part and seeing if I have to do anything for that. Other than that, though, we also then fixed a couple things. Fixed that problem with the bank plugin command, bank open plugin command. Also, from there, did all this stuff, which helped us do all the other stuff as well. So, at least from the standpoint of opening up the plugin scene and having it do stuff correctly, it's working. Everything after that still has to actually be coded, which is going to be a pain in the arse because that means lots and lots and lots of work. First of all, we have to go through and figure out kind of how we want to operate it from this. Looking how the different windows are coded in here in Ruby and seeing how we can translate it over to JavaScript, and then deciding if we want to keep that functionality or not, or modify it like I've did with his class changer script. This class changer script was kind of like what mine is, but it wasn't nearly as complicated. It was just, simple thing compared to what I ended up with on mine. So I'll probably end up similar, maybe not as crazy as a customization of it, but similar kind of thing where some of the functionality we carried over, but then I'll change things around to suit more of what I would like to see happen with it. That's going to be up for now. Again, just to kind of do a end cap here, going to be doing Reciteer streaming in the morning, maybe an hour and a half each morning, starting at 7 o'clock until it's finished. Hoping to finish it maybe tomorrow or on Friday. And then going forward, after I come back from the hiatus, during which I'm going to be trying to do 50 reviews. Well, not 50, 40-something reviews, because we are seriously freaking backlogged. Actually, no, yeah, 49 reviews. I've only done the one for Mass Effect, and I've got 49 other projects once we get to the hiatus to do. So we'll have to do, so at that point we'll have also done Chrono Cross and Crimson Echoes. So that should be interesting to deal with. I don't even know how long the hiatus is going to be, how long that break's going to be to work on all that stuff. I mean, it's just doing reviews is hard. Hopefully not as crazy as the Mass Effect one, because they're not going to be like hours and hours long. That Mass Effect review is kind of just a little bit insane, really. I mean, just way too detailed. It needs to be more generalized, I guess, but not too oversimplified. We'll see how that all ends, how that all shakes out. As for this, maybe I'll do some more of this on the weekend. Maybe I'll do some more streaming. I'll work on this in between, probably, though. Then maybe do some more streaming on it on Saturday, probably. And I will, on Saturday, this is a will, not a might, be doing streaming for Star Ocean 3 some point on Saturday. Probably in the afternoon. But we'll see what will happen with that. But there will be an SO3 stream sometime. You may or may not want to tune in for it. It's mostly going to just be me doing grinding, as well as some more crafting grinding to try and get my weaponry more buffed up, because Luther totally owned me last time I tried to take him on. I think that's all the information to impart. So thanks for watching the stream if you did, for watching it afterwards on YouTube, on the actual video, the recording of it. If you have any comments, feel free to leave below in the comment section, and if you hadn't done so already, would appreciate it if you'd subscribe to the channel. I will see you next time, I'll see you, not next time, but tomorrow, for the Reciteer stream. And then after that, will probably be maybe the next Reciteer stream, hopefully not. I'm hoping to finish it tomorrow. But who knows? Reciteer takes a long time to get there. But I will see you next time.